Hi dear students, how are you? This is Miss Salwa with you again. This is video number 20 and it's going to be on Wednesday, 15th of April 2020. And in this video, we are going to learn how to write a guide for 12th grade students. It's in workbook page 52 and exercise 14. Let's start reading. You are going to write a guide for students who will start grade 12 next year. I'm going to write a guide. It means I'm going to advise next year 12th graders. I'm going to tell them what to do, how to study, how to review, how to get high grades. So I'm going to give them a few tips to follow. Make sure you tell them what they should do to be successful and what it would be a good idea for them to do, and add any useful advice. So we are going to use the words of advice we have taken in exercise 12. If it clause 2, if I were you, or you could, or you can, why don't you, and so on. So add any useful advice you can think of. In fact, I have written this topic for you. I'm going to read it. So pay attention, please. So this is a kind of article, and the article usually I started with an introduction, and then I wrote two other paragraphs, and these paragraphs, they have tips and pieces of advice, and finally we have the conclusion at the end. So let's start. So you are going to be 12th grade students. Great! No matter things you have heard, grade 12 is a magical time when students have the opportunity to learn, grow, and make mistakes. At the beginning, I'm going to talk about 12th grade in general and how useful it is, although it's very tiring, right? And in this essay, now I'm going to tell them what am I going to talk about 12th grade. I'll give you some tips or some advice to keep in mind as they'll guide you to academic excellence during this formative year في خلال هذه السنة الحرجة أو التشكيل اللي حتشكل لك حياتك later on. So this is the introduction. Now you skip a line between each paragraph. Now I'm going to give you two paragraphs in which I'm going to talk about, or I'm going to guide the students what to do and what is the best way to do so and so, to study, how to get high grades, and so on. First of all, look at the linking words. Explore and find your passions, so you can discover the areas, study and activities that you are passionate about. Passionate, it means interested in. فإحنا بدنا ندور على الإشي اللي أنت interested in it and you like it to start with. So passionate about, because this will lead to more success throughout the year. Second, again, the linking word second, discover how to manage and use your time wisely. You should divide the day into hours, and you should you should assign مثلا each hour to study a certain subject, and you should have a kind of a schedule with dates and days to guide you what to study and when to finish that subject and how many days you're going to study the other subject and so on. So try to manage and use your time wisely. يعني استخدم وقتك بحكمة. وزع وقتك بحكمة. Why don't you, again advice, why don't you keep a calendar to remind you of the tasks you think are important? يكون في عندي تقويم بالأيام وبالأشهر أكون أنا معلم على كل يوم شو بدي أعمل. If I were you, again, as you can see, we have advice word. If I were you, I would schedule أو schedule, يعني رح أبرمج أو أجدول study for classes before the week of the test. ليش? To give my brain time to digest information, to settle information. يعني أنا باجي بدرس قبل بأسبوع عشان المادة هاي السبجكت to settle in my mind, تستقر في مخي, تتخمر في مخي. Okay? Determine which tasks are most important to you. قرر أنت, decide which task. Is it, for example, to study something new? Is it to revise? Is it to, for example, مثلا to start with the subject I did not study أو I am مثلا weak at ولا I'm strong at. So it's you to decide and determine which tasks are most important to you and add them first on your list. أضيفهم على أعلى في أعلى قائمتك للدراسة أو التركيز. This is the first paragraph of tips. Now let's move to another paragraph of tips too. Third, again, linking words. You can create good, you can أو could كمان هدول من كلمات الادفايس. Create good habits like reviewing notes each night before bed. It can help the content to settle يستقر in your mind. مراجعة بسيطة هيك وأنا قبل ما أنام. Fourth, succeeding in grade 12 cannot be done without help. So you should use your resources. يعني أنا in توجيهي, in particular in توجيهي, I need someone to support me academically and emotionally. So I have to use all my resources. I have to use my parents. I'll ask my parents' help, my friends' help, my teachers' help. So use your resources. استخدم مصادرك. Of course, your parents or teachers and friends have all to be there to help you. كلهم لازم يكونوا ready to help you. مستعدين يساعدوك. Fifth, you cannot have academic success if you are not healthy enough. So you should be healthy. You should eat healthily. You should eat healthy food. You should avoid eating junk food. Make time to exercise. كمان مش غلط to practice some kind of sport. This is good for my brain and for my blood circulation. So it's good also for my what? For my doing better in exams. Eat balanced and nutritious meals. يعني أنت تناول وجبات balanced متوازنة and nutritious ومغذية. طيب مثلا for example, don't eat fatty things, don't eat sugary things. They are bad for you and for your health. Drink plenty of water. We have to drink plenty of water and juice. Why? To avoid dehydration. حتى نتجنب الجفاف, which is very bad for your health. And sleep well. Yes, okay, we should study, we should exert a lot of effort, we should spend more time on studying, but at the same time we should sleep well. If you don't sleep well, you cannot concentrate well. Take rest when you really need it, and spend time with your friends and family, and also don't forget your social life. It will be very helpful to you. Now I finished. This is the introduction. This is paragraph 1, the first paragraph for tips, a second paragraph for more tips and advice, and now this is the conclusion or the sign out. Finally, comma, if you follow these tips, you'll enjoy learning and be successful 12th grade students. That's all, my dear students. Try to write a guide like mine, and I'm ready to correct it for you. Until we meet next week, inshallah, in our next video, I hope you the best. Thank you very much and goodbye.